Hello everybody, this is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports and the co-host of Smartcasses. And tonight I wanted to talk to you about the 30-year anniversary of when Hulkamania began. It was on this night, 30 years ago, 1984, when Hulk Hogan defeated the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden to win his first WWE World Heavyweight title. And I gotta tell you, over a 25 so year period, as Hulkamania was born in '84, and I didn't start watching wrestling until like 88, 89. So over a 25-year period, I've seen a lot of wrestlers come and go. Been a fan of some wrestlers, but no one ever meant as much to me as a kid as Hulk Hogan. And a lot of people say it's a cliche thing to say that Hulk Hogan is their favorite wrestler and Hulk Hogan's the reason they got into the pro wrestling business. But for me, being a kid, that had heart disease, growing up with it, and then hearing the message of the saying your prayers, training, taking your vitamins, and believing in yourself, that was a positive message for somebody like me to hear. That was a positive thing for me to get behind and believe in. And even when all the steroids thing came out, when Hogan turned heel in '96, I still thought, when I think Hulkamania, I think of a, very positive thought, a very positive vibe, just a positive message. And one thing about Hulk Hogan is I don't know this from experience, but I know from others that have actually met him, that he is super nice, super good to his fans, and is just a super polite guy to be around. And I think that's why he was largely successful, because he was good to his fans and he always took time for his fans. And I think that's what a lot of the younger guys today don't understand, is they have to be good to their fans. I mean, that's the life. That's the life you chose for yourself, being a pro wrestler. And I think Hulk realized that early on, and realized, well, if I'm not good to my fans, I'm not going to be successful. And I think that's why Hogan was successful, and is still successful to, a certain degree. And I gotta tell you, I know people say, well, Hulk Hogan was a great entertainer, not a great wrestler, and Hulk Hogan was full of political BS and all this other stuff that's behind the scenes. But when you look at it, when you think of professional wrestling in a global setting, when people talk wrestling, people talk Hulk Hogan. The four biggest names in the history of pro wrestling, in my opinion, start with Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock. Those are the four names that everybody associates pro wrestling with. And I hate to say it, but nobody on today's WWE roster will ever touch what Hulk Hogan did on the current roster. They try to make it seem like Cena will, but not even Cena has that it factor that Hogan did. And Hulkamania, Hulk Hogan, he peaked at the right time, came into the wrestling business at the right time. And I gotta tell you, these aren't in any order, but if I had to name my top 5 Hulk Hogan matches, I'm just gonna tell you this is what they would be. Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon, WrestleMania 19, versus Shawn Michaels, SummerSlam '05, versus The Rock, WrestleMania 18, versus Flair, Bash at the Beach 94, his first match in WCW, and my personal favorite, SummerSlam 1991, when he teamed with the Ultimate Warrior against Sergeant Slaughter, Colonel Mustafa, and General Adnan, known as the Triangle of Terror. And he had some moments of excellence, in terms of wrestling ability. Like, a lot of people don't understand that. Like, when Vince McMahon had you under his grasp, you wrestled the way Vince wants you to wrestle. If you were to Google or YouTube Hulk Hogan in Japan, you would see a whole nother side of Hulk Hogan's wrestling ability that a lot of people never got a chance to see. And that's another reason why I still respect him as much as I do, is because I knew that inside of the man was a great performer and a great wrestler. And, did Vince McMahon's formula work for Hulk Hogan? Yes, it did. But when you're looking at a, wrestling style aspect, Hulk Hogan's good wrestler. There is no doubt about that, folks. Like I said, just YouTube his stuff over in Japan and you will see it crystal clear. So, like I said, it's been 30 years. I'm turning 29 in a few weeks, and I just think of how my life is paralleled with Hulkamania, and how, as I grew up, Hulkamania grew, and so funny is how I got my nickname Hollywood. Is I was so into Hogan, even as a bad guy. Hollywood Joe came along, and obviously here we now have Hollywood's World of Sports. And, I will always be a Hulk Hogan fan at heart. He'll always be in my top, 3 favorite wrestlers of all time. Shawn Michaels and CM Punk are the other 3. I really can't put them in order because it's hard. But Hogan will always be there in that category of 3 guys I just absolutely love watching. And he's an icon. He's larger than life, and I'll always appreciate the messages, the positive vibes that Hulkamania gave to me when I was a child. And hopefully someday someone like that will come along again and inspire so many people and get that many people behind them in the wrestling business. There's people that have that, but not to the magnitude of Hulk Hogan. So, with that being said, 30 years of Hulkamania, still running wild, brother. What you gonna do? 24-inch pythons. This is where the power lies, and just everything. And congrats to Hulk Hogan on a good career, on the wonderful career. Hope he continues to do whatever he does with the most success in the world. And this is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports, and the co-host of Smarkasses. Be sure to check both things out on Facebook and Twitter. Check out my website, hollywoodsworldofsports.com, and keep tuning in to the latest and greatest, where controversy doesn't come without criticism, and we are your source for all things sports. Thanks, guys, and have a good night, brothers.